Welcome to Rooted Moms. This is the podcast for moms living somewhere between crayons and car keys.
Bedtime prayers and those big talks that we really don't want to have.
So, whether you're raising littles or teenagers, or you're somewhere in between, or maybe you're even beyond.
We're here to laugh and, hey, probably cry a little bit, but we're here to learn and stay rooted in our faith through every single season of our motherhood.
Because between the two of us, we are covering a lot of ground in motherhood.
Basically, from crowns
to car keys.
Welcome back to Rooted Moms. Can we just be honest for a minute? Moms carry a ridiculous amount of pressure. Pressure to be present. Pressure to be patient. Pressure to cook healthy meals. Pressure to keep our house clean. Oh my goodness, that's a big one. Pressure to show up at every event. Pressure to volunteer. And pressure to work like we don't have kids. And parent like we don't have a job.
And somehow, no matter how much we do, there's always that little voice whispering, you should be doing more. So where does that pressure even come from? Sometimes it comes from outside voices. Sometimes it comes from the expectations people have placed on us. And sometimes, that's the hard one, is that it comes directly from us. The version of motherhood we imagine, the standards we created, and the comparison traps we willingly walk into.
And today, we're going to talk about all of it. Because motherhood was never meant to be lived under constant guilt.
Grace was always the invitation.
So let's get into our first one right here, shouldn't we? The invisible backpack of us mom, or that mom pressure that we have.
Such a heavy backpack.
Oh my gosh, it is, isn't it? We shouldn't be having to carry that backpack, but we do.
Right?
I mean, technically, we carry everything, when we go places. It's like, Mom, here, hold this. Hold this.
Everything. That's why our purses are so heavy.
Exactly. But the question is, if motherhood had a warning label, what would yours say?
That's so funny because before doing this, I asked the kids that the other night. If I had a warning label, what would it say? And of course, Daytona said, proceed with caution. Do not take off. Hey, that's good. I have the fear in him.
Yes. It's good for a son and a future son-in-law there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lily said, what did she say? She said proceed with caution as well. Jesse was like, I don't know. And I think Maggie said, I think she was trying to win brownie points because she was like, best mom ever or something. But I think Daytona was spot on, and Lily, proceed with caution.
Yeah, I think some of it is proceed with cautions, but it's more of, let's see.
Not awaken, that should be mine.
Do not awaken. Yeah, I'm pretty good when I'm awake sometimes, but it's
I'm good when I'm awake. It's that wake me up. Don't wake me up.
Yeah.
I'm asleep. Let me sleep.
I think my husband would have the warning label of proceed with caution. My kids are like, oh, there's Mom. Let me just go poke her and irritate the crap out of her.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, I mean, also James is more of, she hasn't had her caffeine yet. So let's
leave her alone for a minute. I think his is proceed with caution and do not awake too, though.
Yeah, his is more of I haven't had my first cigarette.
Don't wake the beast.
Yes, don't wake the beast.
Let the beast wake himself.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That is
Same.
that is one of the biggest
Oh,
things.
look, something else.
But moms carry so much mentally that nobody sees.
They do.
I mean, I see it. I think when you become a mom, you see it more on a mom.
Right. It's all of that emotional work that we're doing.
Hmm. The schedules.
The schedules, the appointments, having to remember to do the school things because they need this for this project and they need money for this and got to pack their lunch or you got to give them lunch money.
Hmm.
It's all those many things we have to remember that dads don't.
Yeah, no. This is what happens in my house. They see dad go straight to mom.
Yeah. Well, and even when they go to dad, it's go on, go ask your mom.
Hmm.
I had that conversation a little bit with Jamie yesterday. You're just as much their parent as I am.
Yeah.
Decisions have to be made together,
Hmm.
and I need to know your opinion on it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the whole thing about and there's like the emotional temperature of of the home.
Yeah, that we have to regulate because men don't understand the emotional side of it.
Yeah, because you don't want your husband to come home and be like, okay, nobody bug your dad because I don't want to hear him get mad.
Right.
And
Right.
it's not just that. It's the he's irritated. He's worked. He
All day.
worked
It's
all
hot.
day, and he worked. And please don't come after me on this, but he worked more mentally and physically than we did. Yes, I know some of us moms, we get on a computer, work all day, and yeah, that's mentally exhausting. And we have nothing, but we have to push forward.
Right.
So, I mean, it's the emotional, like, I don't want to hear it. So I'm going to make sure everybody is calm at home.
Right. Well, and it took me a long time to get through to my husband that, yes, I'm inside,
Hmm.
but a lot of times that mental exhaustion is just as rough as that physical exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because, our brain's a muscle too, and we're overworking that. And that's one muscle that controls everything.
Hmm.
So if you're overworked your brain all day, by the time you get home, you want to check out too. But you're right, as moms, we have to keep pushing forward. The things have to be done. We have to make sure the family dynamic is operating in the correct manner.
Hmm. Gotta make sure everybody's fed. We gotta make sure. I mean, that's what we do in the household. I mean, it's Proverbs 31 woman.
Right.
I mean, that woman is constantly going.
Always.
I mean, that's pretty much us. We're constantly going except when we sleep.
Yeah. And
When
that's very little.
we sleep.
Yeah. So do you think, we talked about dads a little bit. Do you think they feel the pressure the same way we do?
I think they have a different kind of pressure than we do
I agree.
because they're the head of the household. And they have a pressure of, am I making the right decision for my family? Am I making sure that my wife's got the food that she can feed us all? Just all that kind of, I feel like their pressure isn't what we have pressure for.
Right. I think a lot of our pressure is deemed on the emotional and side of things,
Hmm.
the the order of things. I think theirs is, am I providing?
Yeah.
Am I spiritually leading?
Yeah.
Am I spiritually leading my family in the correct way?
Yeah.
And that's got to be one of the biggest pressures of all.
Well, and that's one of the pressures is when your husband gets closer to God, he's constantly looking it as, am I doing what God is telling me to do for my family?
Right. And they're having to discern constant, am I listening to God? Am I listening to the world?
Mhm.
And that's a pressure in and of itself because what we have to realize is pressure isn't just physical. It's not just the sit down, make the meal, clean the house, do the laundry, take the kids. Yeah, I get tired just talking about it
I
all.
know, right?
It's emotional pressure. I'm dealing with emotional pressures like crazy right now.
Mhm.
I've got one child that's dealing with mental health. I've got another one that's dealing with, I don't want to be an adult and I turn into an adult in 12 days.
Yeah.
I've got another one that's like, I'm ready to be an adult, but I don't know how and it's scary.
Mhm.
It's the emotional side of it. And then the men, we're dealing with spiritual side, but not like the men.
Yeah.
We're not held to the same accountability as the men are on that spiritual side
Right.
with God. We are supposed to take our guidance from our husbands and pass that down to our children.
Mhm.
And ultimately, that guidance to our husbands is coming from God. So we have to make sure that order is staying the same. We have to make sure we're supporting our husbands
Yeah.
into being able to discern.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's been some instances that I haven't agreed with my husband's decision, but and he ultimately had the like, I'm hoping I made the right decision, because we had that conversation. I'm not trying to say that us women are like, we have to submit everything for our husband. The submission part is more of the supportive part, is when he makes a certain kind of decision, we gotta support him. It's not, "Okay, well, he makes all the decisions." It is a partnership discussion, but ultimately it's his decision. That's the kind of pressure that he has to deal with is, "Did I make the right decision?"
Right.
But for us women, it is, we flow with the emotional, we flow with the spiritual, like, you know, us women do have a connection with God in a certain way. Not like how a man has a connection with God.
Yeah, it's completely different.
So it is one of those that a lot of times us women end up going with our emotions before we go with the spiritual.
Right.
So, that's the pressure in itself.
Yep. So let's break down some of these pressures. Our first pressure we're going to talk about is the pressure from ourselves, and that is for being the mom we thought we'd be.
Mm, yeah, that one is a hitter there,
Yeah.
cause I mean
We all have that idealism when we're young of the type of mother we're going to be,
exactly.
or no mother at all. Recently learning how to be a mom because her whole time, she's 28 years old. She was like, I'm never having kids. I don't want to have kids. So she didn't think about the mom that she wanted to be.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, here comes my sweet little great niece. Now she's got to figure out what mom she wants to be.
Yeah.
When I became a mom, I knew what kind of mom I wanted to be
Mhm.
or that I thought I wanted to be.
Yeah, it's the "I would never" episode again.
Because, well, and that changes with I can't be the same mom to every one of my kids
Right.
because every one of my kids is different.
Yeah.
I have to be their mom and be their support and their love and love them in the way that they need.
Mhm.
It's not a one size fits all situation.
Right.
Even though they both came from me and my husband, they're both being raised the same, especially now that we're into teenage years. My goodness, every one of them is different.
Well, and I think I mentioned this on the last episode is God created us all different. He created us in a way of we're all going to be parenting different. That's why every child is different because he technically has to parent us differently because we're
Right.
all unique in some sort of
Absolutely.
way. So, I mean, for me, I, I'll be a little conceited in this one. I thought I was gonna be the perfect mom. I wasn't gonna yell. It's the I never would. But getting into it, I started realizing the struggles my mom dealt with all of us.
Yeah.
Um, the struggles that my grandmother dealt with all of her kids, you start seeing the struggles. You start seeing I think when you lose the thought of I don't think it's more of you're gonna be the perfect mom. I think when you put that in your head that you're gonna be the perfect mom, you're gonna have a lot of mistakes, and you're not gonna see a lot of things, I feel like.
Right. Well, I mean, I thought the same. I thought I was gonna be the best mom ever. I was gonna be the mom that baked the cookies and did all that.
Mhm,
I did not consider the fact that at the end of the day, when it's time to bake said cookies, I'm exhausted.
mhm.
And if I'm gonna bake cookies, I'm gonna buy those place and bake, throw them on a pan, and throw them in the oven. And better yet, I'm just gonna go to the bakery and buy some cookies
Yeah.
because
So my grandma my gr
I don't have to do anything.
I know,
And
my grandma made some cookie like, she made I cannot make chocolate chips cookies, and those are the simplest cookies that you could make. I can't make them. My grandma used to make them, and she would roll them up herself and put it in the freezer, so when she was done, she had her own, cut it, and put it on the pan.
it's still too much work for me.
I
There's
know.
some days.
It is those days, but, I I I would have the social media mom. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted the picture perfect. I could take a picture with my kids without having problems. I would be the mom that my house would be clean all the time. I'd make my own baby food. I'd make sure food was done, but that didn't happen.
No. No. And I really thought I'd be always patient.
Mhm.
I have very little patience most days.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but the older they get, the less I have patience I have.
Oh, yeah. Well, I started not having as much patience. Like, okay, when they were babies and holding them, oh my goodness, I loved it.
Right.
But when they started moving around and all that, I was like, really?
I always say I'm a great mom from birth to 2-ish,
Mhm.
2 to 3, and then not again until they hit about 14, 15. When that change happens between there's something that that not puberty, not any of that, because that happens earlier, but there's some kind of swap in them
Yeah.
between 14 and 15, and then I get to be a great mom again, because those are the ages I can handle. The in between, I don't like them kids.
They're they're hard to handle.
They are. They're mean.
I couldn't even sub middle school. That was
Yeah.
the worst time I had.
I don't know, I think I had more problems at elementary kids than I did anything.
Elementary was kinda bad too, but, sometimes our guilt comes from grieving the mom we thought we'd be.
Yeah, because we put that pressure on ourselves and we just don't have it.
Yeah, but sometimes guilt isn't because we failed, it's because reality didn't match our fantasy. That hits.
Yeah.
I grew up with, um, the romantic comedies.
Yep.
So in my mind, that's how I was gonna have a family. That's how I was gonna meet my husband. And when it hit, it's like, "Oh,
It doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have to work for it."
We had to let a lot of expectations die. I think we already discussed that. But what standards do you hold yourself to? God never asked.
Oh, everything. Everything that I do. Making the perfect cake for their birthday. Making sure they have everything perfect. Making sure they have everything they got. Making sure just making sure of their fantasies. But that's not what God asked me to do. And I've gotten to be where I realize that I can't always make the perfect cake for them. I can't always be perfect for them. Because if you try and play this facade of being the perfect mom, well, you're not giving them that rawness.
No.
You're not giving them that reality.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for, reality. You're giving them a fantasy. What about you?
Yeah, I think you're right. Everything beyond, really you get down to the nitty-gritty, you think about it and biblically, the instruction it gives parents,
Mhm,
we have all this instruction as people individually. We have 10 commandments.
mhm.
We have instruction on how to love our husbands and how our husbands should be loving us. There's not as much instruction on how to be a parent
No.
when you get down to it. Uh, Down to the bare minimum, it says discipline your children and bring them up in God.
Mhm,
So anything aside from disciplining our children and bringing them up in God are expectations
mhm.
that we are putting on ourselves that God is not asking of us. God asks us that we give these kids back to Him.
Did you talk
We-
to my husband on this one? 'Cause I'm just saying, cause this is exactly what my husband would be saying. Why are you putting those expectations on yourself?
I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me.
I know.
Probably talking to me just as much because I went through a whole 24-hour period. I felt like the worst mother in the world
Yeah.
over decisions I was making to help my kid.
Mhm,
So we all put those on us. But in reality, according to God, I am the perfect mother.
mhm.
I bring my kids to church. I teach them about faith. I teach them about God. I have ended up doing that to the point they have all accepted Christ.
Mhm.
So, first check mark off, they're back to God.
Yeah.
I've disciplined them their whole life. Second check mark done, they're getting the discipline.
Mhm. Well,
What else does he ask of us? We have a miles of scripture on how to be good wives.
oh, yeah.
And I think that's because God intended our marriages to be forever.
Mhm,
Children are for a season. They're going to grow up.
mhm.
They're going to get married. They're going to have their own lives. It says biblically to leave your mother and father.
Yeah.
So we don't have as much instruction on them because we have them for that short time frame to get them where they need to be to move on to start their lives.
Yeah, and, us moms, we end up putting ourselves down because we feel like we didn't do what we were supposed to. But,
Yeah.
one thing that he does ask from us, actually from anybody, not just moms, not just dads, not just, anybody, and it's Matthew 11:28 through 30. Come to me, all all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That hits.
I don't know why you got to call me out like that.
Not just calling you out, but that hits
It does.
because I put way too much on my shoulders.
And we carry it all ourselves. We
Well,
don't split that load.
yeah, and where it says who are weary and burdened. I feel like I burden God by giving him what I have.
And that's what he's asking of us.
Yeah.
He knows it already, but he wants us to talk to him about it. He wants us to give it to him.
Mhm.
He wants us to willingly make that choice.
Mhm.
He could have easily made us where we all just bow down, no matter what.
Yeah.
He could have not given us the choice, but he wanted to be wanted. Yeah, isn't that something we all want as women? We want to be wanted.
Yes.
That's something that comes from God.
Mhm.
He wants us to want him. He wants us to have that relationship and to cultivate that with him because he wants to take the burden from us. But if we're holding it, how can he take it?
Yeah, it's it's one of those things that I think all of us struggle with, that we feel like, well, my burden isn't worth it. There's people out there that need him more than me. And that's not what he's asking. He is a God of everything,
Yep.
and he can handle all the burdens that we have.
I'm the world's worst. I 100% will pray for everybody else and not include me
Yeah.
and not what to tell. Okay, confession. I was recently in the hospital. And I only told her because I had to cancel Bible study that night. Had it been a Tuesday, I wouldn't have. I would have, but people cancel it. But, if it would have been a night that we didn't already have something planned, I wouldn't have even told her. And I specifically told her, "Do not tell anybody." And I got Nemo's trouble on Sunday from all of our church family, not because they're just being nosy, but because they want to pray with me and for me, and I don't think I deserve it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want anybody to know. And then the funniest one I'd never expected was James's grandmother, and she jumped on me right there on the floor to everybody
Mhm.
and told me, "We don't alone. How are you expect anybody to pray for you or to help you if you're not telling us what's going on?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'll be better."
Yeah. Mama
I
can
felt
get
like
you.
a little kid. I'm going, "Yes, mama."
Yeah,
You're not she's not even my mama, but she is my mama, but
yeah.
like,
Mama, she you know, I wanna talk about a lady that has been, like, probably what we've been through, and there's been times that it will be 5 o'clock in the morning because she has a list that she texts of people, and she will text them certain things that she knows what they're going through. Well, she texted me at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was up for, like, 3 since 3 o'clock because of a situation with my kids in the school, and I'm like, "Mama, I need prayers." She's all, "Come on down," 'cause we kinda live in a family compound. She's all, come on over, we'll talk about it." And she's all, "Whitney, that's why I'm here." I'm like, "I know, mama, but, I don't wanna it's one of those, I don't wanna burden you." It's like, "No, no, 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 no. That is what we were here to be."
so what you're saying is mama needs my phone.
Yes, mama needs your phone number.
I'm just we need to tell her I'm not driving out there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No, but she will be texting you and calling you for hours, talking to you on the phone.
That's okay. So the next set of expectations kind of rolled into this one
Mhm.
is the family expectations.
Yeah, the family can I mean, your family can be beautiful, and family can also apply pressure, but here's some examples.
It's well, when I raised my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sharon, I saw how you raised your kids. And my mother-in-law did try that one day. She's like, "Well, when Jamie was little, I did. I saw how he turned out.
Yeah.
Do I really want advice for you?" I was very rarely me and my mother-in-law had a beautifully amazing relationship. She had 4 boys. My husband's the youngest. All of the other 3 boys were married when I came into the family, but they had married older women.
Uh-huh.
I came into the family at 17. I was the daughter she never had,
Yeah.
and she was just took off and ran with that. She always used to call me just mama hen checking on her baby chicks because it's me and the girls.
Yeah.
So she was stoked with that. But it was when I raised him, well, he's a butthead.
Yeah.
Look what I'm having to deal with right now. I wouldn't be coming to you if I wouldn't have problems with who you raised.
Yeah. Well, like there's one for me is pressure to maintain traditions.
Lily came to me that one day and she was like, "Mom, you realize peer pressure or family traditions are just peer pressure from the dead." Really, Lily? Really?
Well, she's got random things that come
But
out of
she's right.
Yes, she is. Well, I understand, there are traditions in your families, but there is a lot of pressure because when you want to do something with your own little family,
Build your own.
you get that mom guilt because, well, but you're not spending time with us.
But that's where people are not taking in that biblical scripture that I just talked about,
Mhm.
where it says, "Leave your mother and father."
Yeah.
We are taking that guilt from the family when God's telling us, "You leave them behind and you create your own."
Mhm.
There's multiple things that I do that my parents did, that my grandparents did, but there's also new things that I've created with my family.
Yeah.
And it's one of those I've just kind over the years, we're 19 years into doing holidays and all
Mhm.
that. So over those years or 20 years, I've been able to say, okay, this works for family. This is the one thing I share with everybody else is this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Christmas. We'll run, we'll go. But Christmas morning is spent in my house
Mhm.
with my family and nobody else.
Yeah.
And we have quiche.
Yeah.
But you never thought Jamie would eat quiche. Well, like, but I'm able to. That's something we did growing up. We always did Christmas morning in our house.
Yeah.
But I take that we have quiche. That's something I get from my grandmother.
Yeah.
And then Christmas dinner, that's something I take from my mom. So you have to. I feel like it's better to take the pieces
Mhm.
from this family member, and this tradition, this and this, and figure out what works best for your family.
Yeah.
And as much as you always think those don't matter, it comes a point to your kids. My girls brought it up to me a couple years ago. They were like, "Mom, we want to be home for Christmas.
Mhm.
We only have so many left at home because we had gotten where we were being gone,
Yeah.
and we want to do Christmas morning in our house. We only have a couple left before we're gone. Can we please do that?" Like, yeah. So now we get up to do Jamie's family Christmas on Christmas Eve. We get up by 4, maybe 5 in the morning if we're out really late, and we're on the road headed back to Christmas in the morning and have quiche at our house.
Yeah. Well, and there are some traditions that we do, and I have noticed that in the last year, me and James have been trying to do our own traditions.
Right.
And, and I know there's a lot of setback on it because it's not
How it's always been done.
yeah, how it's always been done. But we're getting into the part where, well, let's find something that we can enjoy because it puts a lot of pressure on you when you have the, well, we have to do it this way. We have to do it this way. And it's like, I don't want to have that pressure that we used to. And our kids, I don't want our kids to feel like they have to have that pressure
Right.
on, we got to do it this way or this
And
way.
that's something I've already discussed with the girls because we're getting to the point. I imagine as much as it makes me want to throw up, I'm probably going to be a grandmother within the next year or two,
Uh-huh.
and they're going to have to create those own traditions for their family.
Yeah.
And as much as I would love to have my kids home on those, I've told them, "You come up with what you want to do, what works best for y'all, and we'll go with whatever."
Yeah.
We ended up transitioning where my family we did Christmas in February,
Hmm.
and everybody was okay. Well, I'm going to my sister's this weekend for Christmas. They're like, "That was a couple months ago. You lost your mind," and I'm like, "No, this is how good." But I think you have to come up with those things, honor your family in their time, but without letting them dictate how you do your mother.
Yeah, because I feel like and this is not just for moms, it's for the guys too, because you and your husband come into different family aspects, and y'all have to figure out your own.
Yep.
Well, you're gonna have opinions from this side. You're gonna have opinions from this side. that you should do it this way, you should do it this way. And it's like, we have to stop that.
We have to find what works for
Yeah.
us.
I mean, we can take the opinions in, we can take the suggestions, but it is our family. And I think when you have it where you come into that marriage and you're like, well, my family does it this way. Well, my family does it this way. And you keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. Y'all are having the problem.
Right.
It's separating your marriage because like you have said earlier, when you leave the house, you leave the parents. But also when you marry your spouse,
You-
you become one. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be doing what her family does. Doesn't mean you're going to be doing what his family does. You have to find what works for you,
Right.
and as parents, you're going to get a lot of opinions from grandparents about your kids. And it is one of those you're going to have to take it or leave it, or you're just going to have to say, look, this is my decision.
Yeah, you have to figure out that middle ground where you go from breaking the cycles
Mhm.
versus being able to honor their legacy.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it, but you ultimately have to figure out the best way for you and your husband.
Yeah. And I mean, here's some of the hardest questions that, we end up getting into. Have you ever felt judged for parenting differently?
Yeah.
Many times.
Yesterday,
Yeah. It's a, it's a, I probably get a comment almost every other day of, well, you're too lenient on them. It's like, but you don't see what happens at home.
yeah,
You don't see what I deal with at home. Or, you know, you're not doing enough here. Are you sure? Y
yeah.
you know?
You see a snippet.
Mhm,
You see the amount I let you see. You hear the amount I let you hear.
mhm.
You don't see the whole picture. You hear a 10-minute phone call where kids are interrupting versus a 24-hour and 50-minute day.
Yeah,
You get snippets until you're in the home
mhm,
and you're there full time.
yeah,
You're living my life.
mhm.
How can we allow to judge that?
Well, and, especially when you end up finally realizing what you're dealing with, and it's like, "Well, I have to figure it out every day. I don't know what to tell you."
Yeah.
But don't be telling me that I'm lenient on things, because there are things that I'm lenient on, because there's something that probably
It's not worth
no.
pick and choose your battles. And when your life is battles after battles after battles after battles, especially with those kids that are experiencing, we've talked about multiple times how Dean and Max both are experiencing this whole different level,
Mhm,
and we're both not sure what it is yet. But a lot of times those battles are just battle after battle after battle over nothing.
mhm,
So if I can say, okay, yeah, that's fine. One time
yeah,
and save myself that headache,
mhm,
that heartache, and that fight.
yeah.
Why would I not?
Well, and, that's just something that we end up having to learn because, like I said earlier, we were meant to parent our children differently
Yep.
because none of us are the same. Even though we think, oh, well, I act the same way as so and so. My children, yeah, they're my children. And there's some things that they do that we do, but there's a unique difference to them that I'm very proud of because they're not me or they're not their daddy. They're their own person. So that's one thing that we have to remember.
Right.
What about how do you honor family without letting them dictate your motherhood?
You pick and choose little pieces,
Mm,
things that will work within what you're doing, and you incorporate those,
Mhm.
like I said, the quiche for breakfast,
Yeah.
it's incorporating my grandmother. The ham and things for lunch, that's incorporating my mama. The being home and opening presents, that we're doing the Santa Claus thing. My kids are 19 and 18 and 14. They don't believe in Santa Claus, but by golly, they have a Santa Claus present
Exactly.
stockings every Christmas morning.
Oh, yeah.
That's honoring my mother. That was one of the things my mom always did when we were young.
We still
We
do it.
we we pick and choose the little things that we can carry over that work into with what we have.
Yeah. So, really think about this. Generational expectations can quietly create guilt. I mean, it can.
Yes.
It does. And so let's look into breaking cycles versus honoring legacies. You were pretty much saying it right then a little bit ago. You know, you pick and choose what you keep going.
And that breaking the cycle it's breaking the cycle of the stress,
Hmm.
of the running nonstop. Who wants to be stressed out and running constantly on Christmas
Exactly.
or Thanksgiving or the 4th of July? I know that's not a big one for many families, but that's a big one for mine. Like, that's my husband's favorite holiday.
Fireworks.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband's so patriotic. That's like that 100% is his favorite holiday. So I think that's where the cycles break. We don't have to stress. We don't have to run. We have to work. Let's figure out what works for us.
Hmm.
Still pull in some of that, but figure out the
Yeah. I mean, that's all we can do. I mean, if we keep putting that pressure on us that we have to do it exactly like our in-laws or our parents do, well, you're going to stress yourself out something terrible that it's going to become a problem. And you can't do that. You really can't. So let's look at the next one, the spousal expectations. So we're going to kind of approach this a little gently and, honestly, but, be honest about it. We're not, we don't have a perfect marriage. And I don't think anybody has a perfect marriage. I'm just going to say that. If you think you have a perfect marriage, all right, great. But I don't believe anybody has a perfect marriage. So let's look at, let's kind of break this down a little bit. Sometimes expectations are spoken. I mean, with me watching the romantic comedies, I had an expectation of marriage, or not of marriage, but of a relationship. And I found that real quickly
That's not how it works.
that's not how it works. Because when me and James ended up first meeting, I mean, we talked and we talked because we were in relationships that hurt us something terrible. And so we talked and we talked about those expectations. And James made it clear to me, he's like, Whitney, we can't go into this marriage with expectations that I'm going to be the best husband and you're going to be the best wife. We have to go into this marriage knowing that we both have flaws, that we're both not perfect, that we both have this, something that we're irritated with. So I think expectations should be spoken about, because if you go into a marriage expecting that your husband's going to be the perfect man the whole time, that he's going to make sure you have, y'all go out to eat every month, and, all that kind of stuff. Like, he's going to be handsome all the time. Being a mechanic
Look, my husband has come in gray for the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Completely gray.
Yeah. James,
Ears and everything.
ugh. James would come home with grease in his ears and it'd be on the back
Yeah.
of his arm and all that.
Okay.
And he'd be so tired that he'd end up going to bed in that. And I'm like, there goes my sheets.
Let me
What about sometimes they'll assume that's what you're going to do for them?
Yeah. They do. They assume, "Oh, my mom did this for my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I did this to mom," whatever maybe. I assume that my husband would know the definition of romance.
Not all of them do.
Not even close.
Yeah.
My sister and I say all the time that my dad gave us unrealistic expectations of how a man should treat a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad was that man that he brought my home mom flowers and jewelry. He'd come home before her and draw her a bath with candles.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you talk about the romantic movies, like that was my dad.
Yeah.
So, my husband, no.
So,
He buys me flowers on holidays, and that makes me so mad.
yeah. Well, so there was one instance whenever I just had Dean. So I was going to be home from work for my leave. James assumed that I would be able to have food on the table when he got home, that I'd have the house clean, dishes would be done, laundry would be done, and he'd come home and get very angry because none of that was done. He did this for about a month and a half. Wouldn't say a thing. He'd just be angry the whole time. And one day I said, "What the heck is wrong with you?" It wasn't just heck. It was
Yeah.
But he's like, "Well, I just had this expectation that you were going to be able to have things done." And I'm like, "In what right mind do you think I'm going to have this stuff
Right?
done because it's my first baby?" I mean, I get it. A long time ago, they had to do that. I mean, I get it. I get it. They did it. I mean, okay, don't come after me because they used to do it that way. But having my son sleep in my arms and for me to have that nap at the same time, or when he'd fall asleep, I'd put him in the bassinet so I could sleep. You literally, you have to sleep when they sleep because you're not going to sleep at all. You
You're
know,
not ever again.
yeah. And he had
For
this
18 years.
expectation and assumed that I'd have all this done, but he didn't realize till I went back to work and I had to work a Saturday and he finally realized what I had to deal with. Dean didn't like me. And I don't think it was my fault that he didn't lay on the floor because I'd try. I would literally try. Like, okay, lay on the floor. But he would bawl and everything like that. But, you're your first mom. You're going to want to hold them. So it got to be like, okay, well, so he finally got to realize what I was dealing with. And he's like, "You can't do nothing with him, can you?" And I said, "Uh-huh." She's like, "I'm sorry." But I had I assumed he would do certain things. Like I guess I assumed he would read my mind sometimes. That didn't work.
Yeah, they're not very good at that.
No, it didn't work.
I think sometimes we create expectations our spouses never really have.
Yeah. Well, and like we said a little bit ago, it's our fantasy that we have. And that fantasy gets in the middle of that reality.
One of ours was, I'm not saying anything. There's no judgment. I was that when dinner was done
Mhm.
or nearly done. And I made his plate and I took it to him and all this. And then somewhere in my mind, that's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find out for a while that he really doesn't like me making his plate. He's like, "Well, you don't need to do that. I can do it myself." Well, no. And where I got it from, I have no idea because it's not like my parents did that.
Yeah.
But still to this day, if he's busy, he's doing something, I'll make his plate and I'll take it to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't need you to do that."
Well, my husband, I had to learn that I had to make sure nothing touched.
Yeah, well,
It
your
took
husband's weird.
it took me a while. Well, your daughter's weird too because she's the same
Yeah.
way. But, we have those expectations that we hope our spouse will have. I mean, don't lie. We do. We have those expectations. We have those fantasies that we're going to have the perfect marriage, that we're going to be able to just look at each other and know what each other wants.
Yeah.
But that's not
Doesn't
how
work
it is.
that way.
So here's a question for you. How much pressure comes from actual expectations and how much comes from assumptions?
Ours probably comes a lot from assumptions because my husband's the world's worst talker.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, a lot of our stuff, assuming he's gonna think this or feel this or X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I think mine is assumptions too. Because I play things in my head.
I have conversations.
Yep.
Whole
I
conversations.
think all of us women do.
Yeah.
I I know a few of our ladies at church. They're like, I had this whole conversation that this is how it was gonna happen, and it didn't go anyway like that.
Yeah, every time. But that creates those communication gaps
Mhm.
and sometimes resentment because we're assuming
Yeah.
when in reality that's not at all what he's thinking.
Mhm.
And now we're mad because of a made up conversation in our head.
Yeah. Or a dream that we had. Yeah, no. I I'll admit I've had some resentment from my husband, but it is also my fault because I didn't go to him and talk to him about it.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, I figured you would have done it.
You should have known that I was upset.
Yeah, but you gotta. It's one of those you gotta go into a relationship and y'all gotta communicate. Because if you don't, you're gonna get that resentment. You're gonna get that communication gap, and we see it over and over again.
Yeah. I think it's important that we always remember that with our spouse, they're our partner, not our performance reviewer. They're not double checking our work.
Hmm.
They're not, our natural promotion from mom is grandma. It's not up to them. We get that promotion when our kids decide.
Yeah.
Oh
Sometimes
no,
when
does that mean they're our performance reviewers?
I guess so, sometimes we don't want those ones. We don't want the promotion, but sometimes it ends up happening that way. But now let's go into the next one because this one I know has been my biggest thing of that I've had to get away from, and it's the social media pressure. The picture perfect, the oh, I wish my family was that way kind of thing.
Yeah, it's because it creates comparison.
Mhm.
I'm not am I doing as much? Am I doing more? Am I doing less?
How can they have a family picture with everybody smiling when I have to fight it?
Yeah, my kid has the worst fake smile in the world. That's what I get to put in family pictures. It's the filtered everything looks pristine and happy and clean.
Yep.
But on the other side of that camera, it's a disaster area, just like our homes.
Yeah.
If you come into my home right now, both sinks are full of dishes. There's dishes on the counter. My stove isn't clean.
Mhm.
The other stuff should be clean if my kids are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But, people don't show you that. They show you the clean sink and people ask me all the time, why don't you film and make TikToks of you making bread? Because it's messy.
Mhm.
and I don't want people to see the mess
Well, and I don't want to have to clean one room
to film.
to film. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I get that. We get to looking at, how they all are wearing the same outfit. I ended up getting the kids the same outfit as me. I love buffalo print. I still love buffalo print. And Emma got a buffalo print dress. Dean had a buffalo print shirt. I'm like, oh, it was nothing like, oh, we're gonna all match today. I'm like, I just think it all looks cute, and it ended up all of us. I come and they're like, isn't that a little too much? And it's like, I'm not trying to make a show of it, but you kind of do look at those families like, oh, they all dress the same.
Yeah.
Say I've also have done the getting the same kind of PJs, and it's like, well, I don't know why I'm doing that.
We do it every year. I do it every year.
Yeah.
We all get matching T-shirts, Christmas T-shirts for sleep shirts, and it's
Well, and I would feel like everybody thinks my birthday parties for my kids would be too over the top. It's not that for me. I don't feel like I'm doing it because I'm not filming myself making sure my kids know or other people see what kind of party I'm doing for them. I just wanna make them a cake that they
it's
challenge
who
me
you
for.
are.
Yeah.
Have you been to my house for a party?
Yeah, I have.
You remember the luau?
Yep, I do. You gotta have a theme.
So, I mean, that was Lily's 16th birthday. She turns 18 in less than 2 weeks. And it was last week. I had somebody get on a step stool because I had all the swirly things. I had somebody get on a step stool and pull all the tabs out of my ceiling. 2 years they've been up there. Two.
Well, and I don't feel like that was a social media thing, it was just what I wanted to do. But I have seen the social media of, you gotta have it like this.
Yeah.
All perfect, all of that. And, the last year, I'm like, "We're gonna go do something for your birthday."
Mm,
'Cause the pressure of that was I got overstimulated. And, I would get this, "Well, Whitney, don't overdo it." So it just made me feel like, "Really?" You know what I mean?
I didn't know I was overdoing it, but I guess I am.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for my kids. And I understand there's certain things that they'll remember. But that's what I did. So this last year, I'm like, I told Tina, I said, "Where do you wanna go for your birthday? We're going somewhere for your birthday.
Yeah.
We're not gonna deal with that."
Yeah. So when you're watching all this social media stuff,
Mhm.
which type of content is what's making you feel behind?
It's the ones where you see what they like, all the families loving each other, the moms doing their devotionals.
With that coffee that's somehow untouched at 5 AM?
Yeah.
I get up at 5 AM, that first cup of coffee better go through me before
Mhm.
you even acknowledge that I'm awake.
Yeah.
I have a t-shirt that says, "Just because I'm awake doesn't mean I'm ready to
Mhm.
I will be ready to do the things after my second cup of coffee."
Yeah. And I really think the contents that I see are the ones that it's the picture perfect family. Because I feel like I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong?
Minus the clean houses.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. My kids are older. It doesn't matter how often I clean my house. It's always a mess, it seems like.
I think that's any time because I'll get one room clean and 5 minutes later it's tornado
Yeah.
went through there. What about, have you ever compared your chaos to someone's published moment?
Probably just the clean houses and everything seems to be picture perfect in order, and they're cooking all the meals and all the things, and
I
I'm
would.
coming home and kicking things out of the way because I can't walk to my chair, and there's stuff piled in my chair, so I'm throwing it over to sit down, and then like, "Oh, no, I still have to cook supper."
Mhm. Yeah, no, I would follow somebody that they would have the, "Oh, it's my first day with all the information on it," and I'm like, okay, it's chaos just trying to get my kid up in the morning so we could get to school for the first day, or
Yeah,
you know,
much less doing a photo shoot.
yeah, and then a photo, and they're all smiley at 7 a.m., and I'm like, I'm having a tough time just getting them in the car. But I mean, that's the thing, that comparison turns blessings into evidence against ourselves.
It does.
I mean, how many times have we seen these picture perfect families end up being on the front page of the news, or the first thing that you see on social media, that it wasn't perfect?
What we have to remember with social media is that it can inspire us or it can suffocate us.
Mhm.
Because while we're seeing that picture perfectness, what people aren't seeing is the tantrum
Mhm.
after that picture perfect picture.
Exactly. Cuz I think that in the last couple of years I've seen more of those picture perfect families have more police reports and all that kind of stuff, because they've made this facade and it hasn't been a picture.
So the next two type of expectations are church expectations and friendship expectations, and I think those kind of carry in together.
Oh yeah.
But one of the big things about us as with church expectation is that Christian moms carry specific types of pressure.
Mhm.
We're expected to always be joyful, have patience.
Mhm. It's kind of hard when your kids come up to you while you're talking to another church member. They're like, "Mom, mom, mom, mom."
Yeah,
Mm.
can I have a snack? We're expected that our kids are spiritually perfect.
Yeah.
I think one of the ones that we deal with the most is we're expected to constantly volunteer and endlessly serve.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest ones we're facing with each other right now.
Mhm.
We're expected to be at every church function
Yep.
and maintain our appearance.
Mhm.
But really, sometimes your family unintentionally adds that pressure.
Yeah. And I think this is the season that we have figured out we're done with this pressure.
And I do think it's unintentional. We love our church.
We do.
We love all of our members. It just gets to a point that good intentions become pressure.
Yeah.
And now we're to a point that
We're at a burnout.
burnout and breakdown.
Yeah. Cuz I get this. We have, me and you have, since you have been here, we have been like, we got to do this. We got to do this. Especially with me and you being with the youth the whole time. We have been pressured, we got to do this, 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 and this. But it's kind of hard, and I'm not making excuses. It's just hard with the limits that we have. Cuz me and you are both full-time working
Mhm.
people.
Yep.
We also have our own family. We also have our
And our own
husband,
businesses.
and we have our businesses now. So trying to look at our schedule, because my husband got mad at me because I had almost every flippin' Saturday booked. Every flippin' Saturday booked. And he's like, I can't, we gotta have one weekend to be with our kids, to be with our family, you know, us being together, not just being pressured into making sure we get everything done.
Yep.
And I think, I know we're doing this podcast and everything, but this is we have opened up our hearts to where God is wanting us to be. And this podcast has been one of the biggest ones for us to do. And we're still growing. But you see, when you have all that pressure, you end up losing the sight of God in a lot of places.
Yep.
I'm gonna admit that. I have felt like I have gone away from what God has called me to be
Yep.
because I needed to do certain things for certain service areas.
Yep. So I think we're starting to both get into a season where we're learning that we have to say no sometimes.
Hmm.
So do you ever feel guilty when you have to say no?
I used to.
I, I'm 100% in that. I feel guilty saying those,
Well,
and I shouldn't be.
no. So I
Heaven knows that I am busy.
well, and I know you you're like, "Whitney, you don't have to apologize," because 'cause I'd apologize constantly because I've
That's quite annoying.
yeah, I know it is. Well, it's annoying for me too, it's I am in a season, I'm gonna tell you no, because there's too much on my plate, and I need to focus on my family because my family is lacking. God called us to make sure we teach our family, we have God in our family. But if you move away from the home and not have that go into your home, you're losing God in your family because you're focusing your attention on something else.
Yeah.
And I will say I did used to feel guilty, but now I'm like, no, I can't do it. That's not where God's wanting me to be, and I got to be where God's telling me to go. So I feel like there's a wall when you're constantly putting stuff on yourself.
Yeah. So, we have to learn. We've talked all about expectations. Sometimes there's good expectations. We've set a environment of an expectation on our friendship of you don't have to apologize.
Hmm. I still do though.
I don't think that's a negative expectation to have.
No,
I think that's a good one to have.
I think I've ended up just saying I'm sorry because it's been
Have it.
a habit thing.
But there's still expectations within friendships that aren't so great.
Yeah.
You have expectations to show up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really tired this weekend. I don't want to go, but she's going to be upset if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Text back. I'm the worst at texting back. You can ask Brandy. Awful, awful about it. But we have that expectation to maintain those friendships even when we're tired.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't have the energy to maintain a friendship.
Yeah.
Sometimes the only energy I have is enough to get through the day and make it to bed. This is an expectation that I struggle with constantly is the expectation to support everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but people just come to me with things and not that I've ever minded, but sometimes it feels like it's expected that I'm going to help,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to do all those things.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially in those moments, they expect me at that very second to be emotionally available. Sorry, there's days that emotion tank is on E
Yeah. Yeah.
or below.
Well, and I know the struggles you go through, so I try like I'm like, hey, it's okay, we can talk. If we're not good at talking, I'm not trying to guilt trip you. Just when you're ready to talk, because you know me, so you're like,
Right.
no, not right now. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, we have that.
Well, that was just like last night. You needed to talk about some of the stuff that we're doing, but you said earlier I didn't bother you last night because I knew you were going.
Yeah.
So having that, and I think that's different than an expectation That's a mutual respect and a mutual time that we're able to just recognize there's days we're emotionally spent. There's days where we have to support ourselves before we can support anybody
Yeah.
else. So I think that it gives us that out
Mhm.
where we don't have to feel guilty with one another just because we don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
And I know I have personally for my
Oh, several times. Because I feel like uh, some of my past friendships have been, oh, well, you didn't tell me. Well, but you're never there for me.
friend.
You know, what you're getting mad at me when I've gotten with you before, but you never were there for me. So why are you getting mad at me now because I didn't tell you what's going on? You know, that's one of those things that I have had several of those because I felt like I still had to tell people, but I'm like, well, you're not there for me, so I can't be in this friendship,
Yeah.
you know, because it ends up being all about you when I'm trying to tell you something and immediately the conversation goes back to you.
I think the truth that we all have to learn is that loving people does not mean they have unlimited access to you.
Yeah.
We have to learn to release the guilt. What if, for a second, just imagine this, we all stopped mothering from guilt and started mothering from a place of grace?
Ooh. Yeah.
Not only would that take the pressure off of us, take the pressure off of kids,
Hmm.
husbands, friends, grandparents.
Yeah, and just the simple questions that you could do that is is this expectation actually mine?
Or is it being placed on me by somebody else?
Yeah. Or is this biblical?
Is it healthy?
Or is this sustainable?
Not every single expectation deserves access to you,
Exactly. Not every relationship does or expectations do.
right? So as we begin to close up today, we want to invite y'all to engage with us. We are on, if you're liking what you're hearing, you can find us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, we're everywhere,
Yeah.
man. But we want to hear from you.
Mhm.
So some questions we want to ask you today is, what is one expectation that has weighed you down the most?
Have you ever felt pressure from social media?
What's something you thought motherhood would look like, but doesn't?
What guilt are you carrying that you need to release?
Have you ever felt pressure from church culture?
And on that church culture, remember this. And I'm going to add this to that question for you to remember is Jesus Jesus invites you to surrender, not performance. When you hear that question, have you ever felt pressure from church culture? Remember, Jesus invites surrender, not performance.
Listen, mamas, if nobody has told you lately, you do not have to earn your worth through exhaustion. You don't have to prove you're a good mom by being overwhelmed. You don't have to meet everybody's expectations. You do not have to be everything to everyone.
Grace says you are allowed to be a human. You are allowed to rest and you are allowed to say no. You are allowed to mother differently.
But most importantly, God's love for you has never once been tied to performance. So if lately guilt has been your loudest companion,
Let grace speak louder. Stay
stay
rooted,
rooted,
mamas.
mamas.